Go, hey everybody, welcome to our video. Just intro. What up?
Episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3 already. That's crazy. So what I wanted to talk to you about, and because of the video that you did about like the whole kind of atmosphere of Pokemon right now, and just what like a lot of YouTubers are going on about just like the atmosphere of Pokemon and kind of the negativity. And that's something that I didn't want to talk about in my videos for a long time until the other day when I went out to do this video to find, this is the card I'm going to show. I don't know if you brought one, but this card right here.
Yeah, that's the GameStop promo, isn't it?
This is the GameStop promo.
Yeah.
And I woke up early and I have this video all recorded. I went on my wife's Vespa, so I had like the helmet cam and everything, and I was riding around. I was going to hit like 5 GameStops to get that promo. And it was so frustrating because I went to the first one, like before the store opened, long line. And before I went in, a GameStop employee came out, gave one of these to a guy and was like, yo, we don't have any more. This is the last one. And I was like, what? I was talking to somebody else. I was like, how many people went in before us? And he was like, I don't know. There was like 6 people. It's like, how could they be out of these? Like, that's insane. So I was like, whatever. I'm just going to go in there, see what other Pokemon stuff they have. And, because I didn't want to just skip this one out.
Yeah.
So I went in there and there was a few Pokemon packs. I was like, let me just grab these. And I talked to the guy. I was like, let me just ask him just in case. I was like, hey, do you have any more of those Flapple promo cards? And he was like, oh yeah, we have a whole bunch of them. And I was like, what? Because like that other guy just said that you guys were all out. But he was like, no, we got boxes of them. So I was like, okay, that's weird. Like I didn't really sit well with me. I was like, maybe he misunderstood or I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever, I'll go to another one now. See if I get another one. So I go over to another GameStop and the guy over there is like, oh, I don't know anything about that. I was like, what? I was like, how don't you know anything about that? He was like, I don't think we have any of those. He was like, this is my first day back in a couple of days. So I was like, okay. So I left that GameStop. I went to some other store. Then I came back a little bit later. I was like, hey, just wanted to know if you heard anything about it now or you talked to some people. He was like, oh yeah, we might have it, but it's in storage and I'm not going to get to it till later. So that was kind of like weird. And like, I don't know, felt kind of like maybe he's like holding on
for himself or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like kind of thinking.
Yeah,
I don't want to say it, but I was like, this is.
You think it'd be his job if he's an employee there, go and check storage if you're asking for products?
Exactly. So I was like, that's weird. So I waited there for like 20 minutes and I was like, I'm just gonna leave. I'm missing out on other places. So I went to the last GameStop because instead of doing 5, I was kind of frustrated. I was like, let me just do one more, see if I get 2. Because like me and you talked about, like as a collector, I get 1 and I'm usually happy, and then I see the prices go up and I'm like, well, I'm never gonna get rid of it.
We spoke about that in that video.
Yeah. So I was like, I need to at least get 2. It's like, let me just get 2 of these guys.
Yeah.
So I go to this other one, and I talked to the guy. I was like, hey, do you have any of the Flapple promos? He's like, actually, I do, but I can't give it to you because you need to buy $15 worth of Pokemon stuff. And I don't have a Pokemon cards, and I don't have any Pokemon cards, so you're out of luck. Well, I look behind him, and he has those binders. I'm like, what are those? And he was like, oh, I forgot about those. Yeah, go ahead. You can buy some of those. I'll give you a promo. So I was like, cool. And after I do that, he gets those binders and he puts them underneath the counter. Like he's gonna hide them. Like he doesn't want to sell them. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, that frustrated me so much. I'm like, it's just
I think it's probably a case of like, I imagine some of these people working GameStops, they'll be not necessarily clued up, but some of them will be into, if they're working in a GameStop, they'll be into, nerdy things like computer games, obviously. They might be into trading cards. So if they're going to be working in a GameStop, they'll know about, if they're like Pokemon, they obviously know what's going on in the community, what's going on with Pokemon. So if they're staff, they've got access to dozens or hundreds potentially of those cards there. So yeah, it sounds like they're trying to just keep hold of them, because in the UK, we had the, is it the futsal or the futsal? I can't remember which it is, but Eevee on the ball promo. I don't know if you've seen those ones.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the soccer. Well, we call it soccer. So, I've seen those.
Yeah. So it's a very similar thing where the equivalent of GameStop in the UK is called Game. That's like a a major retailer for computer games over here. So that was, if you spend £15, you got an Eevee on the Ball promo cards. Over here, though, the stores that I went in, like, I didn't encounter any of that. The only thing that I had was, there was a day where I spent like, I think it was like £32 worth of like money on cards to open. But the guy behind the counter said, "Oh, it's one per customer. So rather than being able to get 2 cards, because I spent, £15 twice, I could only get one." I suppose if I went later that day and bought another one, I could have got it. But I've also seen those Eevee cards literally being thrown into a carrier bag at once. So somebody's being in because they've got so many of them. And the cards just weren't. They must not have been selling like as many cards at the time. They were putting more than one copy of the card in. They also had jumbo cards. There was a Toxtricity and a Jumbo Eternatus, and they were doing something similar with that. They were just trying to get rid of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I saw something else. I don't know if I talked about this for the first time or not, but during like the holiday season, like Christmas, there was a special box that they would release at the like Walgreens stores where there was a chance to get like a base set or a Neo, like an old pack.
Oh, I've seen those online. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would go to those drugstores like all the time, looking. And then I got frustrated once. I was like, "Hey, do you ever even get these? Like, I've been checking for these all the time." And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, we get those." He's all, "But whenever we get them, so and so who works at photography, he buys them all out." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was like, "That doesn't sound right. Like, I don't think that's, that doesn't sound like, something you guys should do as a business." He was like, "Oh, well, we asked the manager. The manager said it's fine."
Yeah,
I think no.
I think like for your major retailers, like you say, they're like a Walgreens, just like a high street, a national kind of chain. They're not really bothered because they just see like, oh well, if we're selling it, we're making profit. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Whereas I think when Champions Path came out, the Elite Trainer boxes were obviously in demand. There was local game stores and comic stores near me that were limiting the ETBs to one per customer. But again, you could walk into game and buy the entire product out. You could buy like one person could go in and buy as many as they wanted. So I think it's just kind of that thing where, big companies don't really see a problem with it. They just think,
like, "Oh, our stuff is getting sold out. That's cool. That's cool."
I suppose it's easier to sell all of your product to one person rather than, hoping that enough people come in to buy it. Whereas with the local game stores, they obviously know what the community is like and they know how in demand these products are. So they're kind of limited to one per customer, which is a good thing because it means more people get a turn.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, like if I'm a collector looking to complete a master set of something, 10 packs isn't enough to complete the set. So it's like if I'm a serious collector and I just think, right, I want to open the packs and pull them on myself. Like you want to be buying more than just one Elite Trainer box to open. So it's kind of like, I suppose it's fair that everybody gets to go, but at the same time, because the stock is so limited, it's harder for people to like get as much as they want and enjoy it. So, there's pros and cons for both, like for both ways, is how I say it.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, like what I'm trying to push on my channel right now, is because like how frustrating Walgreens has been, how GameStop has been frustrating, just things I've seen about Target and Walmart, is just support these like small local card shops.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen any of that stuff at these local card shops, and it's just so much, just like you're saying, like the big stores, they don't care as long as it's getting sold, it's good. But with these smaller shops, it's like a lot of them, they sell at MSRP. If you call in and you want to pre-order, like they'll sell it to you MSRP. At least like the 3 that I've been to so far, and I'm going to be going to a lot more. And like those guys, they want to just like nurture the relationship with the customer. Like they care about you. Walmart doesn't give a crud about you. GameStop doesn't give a crud about you. Some of the people there might be cool, but all in all, the company doesn't really care about you.
It's just a big corporate, like it's a faceless organization. Whereas, the local game stores, it's completely different because it's like you build a community, or they want to try and build a community because a lot of the local game stores actually host events to play the games. Not that I don't play the card game anymore, but I know like they host events to, actually play the game and things like that. So it's in their best interest to keep the customers happy so the customers choose them in the future rather than, you know, over here in the UK, it would be like a game or even the supermarkets. Like it makes sense, you know, keep your customers
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
It's just even the small stores struggle though. I know again, going back to Champions Path, when I was trying to get elite trainer boxes, there was a store near me, like a local game store, who had their allocation cuts and I can't remember how much they'd got compared to what they'd ordered, but that's why they were limiting. I think they got like one case, so they had like, I don't know, it was 6 or 10
Ooh.
in a case. They had like one case of elite
That's
trainer boxes.
gone. Yeah.
So yeah, like literally the day it comes in, it's gone. So rather than one person walking in and buying all of that, at least, you know, they want to limit it. That's like if it's 6 boxes or 10 boxes, like 6 or 10 customers, which is, you know, it's more of a fair way to do it. But again, I can see the frustrations from like a collector like Hidden Fates, for example. The way that I've gone through Hidden Fates, I was opening 3 tins of video, and some nights I would sit and I would film maybe it's like 4 videos. So I would go through like 12 tins just like that. And it's like, for me,
Oh.
I know that sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
And it is. It's like I would open 12 tins, but it's not like I'm opening that amount every day. What I would tend to do with Pokemon cards is go out, buy a good chunk of them, because Hidden Fates is hard to get hold of, obviously. Buy a chunk, open them, and then you've got to wait until you get the next lot. But because of those, you know, stock issues, like 12 tins isn't filling your set. So it's like, as a collector, if I want to pull that set myself, there's a frustration for collectors as well. And obviously people play the game for the newer sets, but as a pure collector, if you want to open those cards and guarantee, you know, them in fresh for your own binder, there's frustrations there as well, because there's not enough stock to be able to do those mass openings. But obviously the fairer way to do it is limit how much each person can buy, so at least somebody has a little bit of something to open. But yeah, it's just frustrations all around.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, exactly. And especially like with that one day when I was going to get that promo, it's like I don't like waking up early. So that was the one day I was going to wake up early, and to think that I could like set a schedule, wake up early, try to get a card, and then the system's still like, no, we're not going to give it to you.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
That's what you got to do though. I mean, I know when I was getting, again, Champions Path, the reason I keep going back to that is because over here in England, we're still in a lockdown. So none of the, other than supermarkets, which don't stock elite trainer boxes and things like that anyway, all other stores are closed at the minute. So our stores have been closed since like December time.
Yeah.
Like so you can't walk into a store over here. So the last set that we got where you could just walk into a store and buy like an elite trainer box was Champions Path. And I remember I had those frustrations when Champions Path came out as well, of just, you know, having to wake up super early, go to a store to be able to find some, get it. And I remember I went to a shop called Smith's Toy Shop. It was opened at 9 o'clock, literally got there like 9:10, and I walked in, couldn't see them on the shelf, asked a member of staff. Another member of staff who was serving somebody overheard me and said, I've just sold the last one to this guy. And one guy just bought out the entire thing. And I was like, oh, well, that was like 9:10.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's so frustrating.
9:10.
I would, if I were you, I would have just
only
walked towards him all
minutes.
intimidating. Yeah. I'm sure he was smaller than you. Yeah.
Like the bully who takes his lunch money.
Yeah. Give me all your Pokemon cards. Like in middle school. Shreddy coming up to you, give me your Pokemon cards. I know you got them all.
That would have made for a good YouTube video.
Yeah. Yeah, you had the GoPro on you.
Yeah. Funny how. Yeah, it's just a frustrating time. And like, obviously I made that video as a response to, I don't even know if I want to mention the content creator's name, because I don't watch that content creator myself. I just saw a lot of people were reacting to that video, which has then made me like delve into it a little bit more. But yeah, my video, it kind of just came more so from like the frustrations or the responses other people were having. And it's kind of that thing where it's like, who do you blame? Like, you can't always just blame someone for something happening. Like, sometimes it's just a number of circumstances or a number of things going on that creates the situation that we're in now. And it's like, it's almost like the perfect storm. It's like everything that could be going wrong is going wrong. And that's why we're in the position that we are now. To just blame, like an individual person or an individual company, it's hard to do, because there's a lot more at stake there. Like, do you blame Pokemon for not printing enough? Well, Pokemon probably didn't see the demand that was going to be hitting, we're also in this worldwide pandemic, so there's going to be restrictions, you know, about the manufacturing, the printing. I know over here in the UK, stuff being imported in and shipped over in is super slow because of that. So I think it probably starts at the top level with, you know, Pokemon maybe is not foreseeing or forecasting the demand that we were going to get, which, yes, a number of reasons for that. YouTubers and influencers, that undoubtedly they're at one reason for that. But we're also, you know, in this 25th anniversary where Pokemon is making a big push. We had Sword and Shield release, was it 2 years ago now or something? Every time the game comes out, there's always hype around Pokemon, and the DLC released. So there's just like, you know, the after effect of that. Pokemon marketing, the 25th anniversary, they announced what, Katy Perry. They did that virtual concert with a rapper, I can't remember his name. Post Malone, maybe.
Yeah. Post Malone.
So like they've got mainstream like superstars, like not just like, you know, celebrities. Like, these are superstar, like super famous people with massive followings. So it's a combination of, you know, just the general marketing of Pokemon as well as these other, you know, outlets, and then the influencers affect it a little bit. So then because of that, the prices raise, and then expensive cards sell. So then, you know, mainstream like newspapers, magazines, publications, websites, they pick up on that. So then your more casual people pick up on those prices. You've got all that demand. You've got the pandemic going on. You've got probably manufacturing and printing delays and issues. You've got supply chain issues. And it's just this thing that's like kind of all of these reasons combined at the same time. And that's the kind of the situation that we're in now.
Yep. I'll tell you who I blame. Like after the whole thing, I blame big corporate. Yeah, I blame you. I blame my subscribers. I blame my viewers. No, I blame big corporate. Like after that, it's like they didn't. Okay. In the beginning, I don't blame them because they didn't understand. Like nobody knew what the pandemic and everything was going to do. But I'm liking what I'm seeing, that some people are limiting, like, you know, a certain amount. Though maybe the number could be more, like you're saying, some collectors, we need to buy some more if we want to open them ourselves. As adults, I could see maybe just buying 2 a day, go there the next day, hopefully you have some in stock, or maybe wait a little bit longer. But I blame big corporate for not limiting the amount for one, you know, to one person, because it's at first I wanted to blame the person. But the person's just taking advantage. They're taking advantage of what the corporation didn't do, right? It's upsetting, but it's not. They're just taking advantage of that.
Like, whether you're a scalper, or if you're a scalper who's just looking to flip the product, you don't care about Pokemon other than knowing. Like, you know, it's kind of like the sneaker guys who you buy sneakers to flip them.
Yeah.
That kind of culture's moved into Pokemon purely because Pokemon's the hot thing. When Pokemon dies down a little bit and it's not as hot, which will inevitably happen, I think maybe later this year, early next year. It might go on for
once everyone's vaccinated or COVID's not.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking once all the stores are open, once people can go out, once they can buy a motorcycle and like do these awesome meetups, or like buy that boat. Because people, I think they're going to be like, let's get out of the house. Let's do some fun things. Let's meet up with people. Let's travel. And they're going to be like, the first thing they're going to look at, the people don't really care about the Pokemon. They're going to look at their Pokemon cards. How much can I sell this thing? I want to get a ticket out of here. Or how much could I sell? I want to get this thing that I wanted to do.
Even if it's a kid, like I think you're going to have a lot of people doing exactly that, selling the collection that they've got, because they'll think, okay, I'm not being on holiday now for 2 years. The world's open back up. If I sell this card, which is now worth £2,000, that's paid for my holiday for just selling one PSA 10 or PSA 9 basic Charizard, for example, or that's paid for my entire holiday. So you have a lot of people who are leaving the hobby, selling off some of the collection, and then because there's more pastimes out there and there's more ways, you know, for them to go and entertain themselves, they can go out and do that, and Pokemon just becomes an afterthought, and then they'll move on, and, you know, maybe they won't come back, maybe they might come back when there's another big event, who knows.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to have some of that. When Pokemon does die down, you're going to have a lot of people who are collecting at the moment because there's nothing else to do, really, at least in the UK. Like, we're still in our lockdown, so there's nothing else to do. Pokemon is hot, so there's a lot of people, like, you know, buying it to open because it's just like it's the hot thing at the minute. It's like the fan or whatever. So then when that dies down a little bit, the scalpers, there's going to be enough demand to satisfy the people in the hobby. So the scalping opportunity won't be there. Those scalpers will just move on to onto whatever else. So it's like, as a scalper, yeah, it's a bit of a scummy thing to do, it's a bit of a crappy thing to do. But they're not, like you say, they're just taking advantage. Those guys are out there to make their money. Can you fault them for making money? Like, if that's their living, like,
yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Like, I still look at them with like anger behind my eyes and everything, but then I'm just like they're taking advantage. They're seeing an opening and they're taking advantage, and it's scummy. But I kind of put it on like Walmart and Target. They should have had some kind of rules, and it sucks that these people are taking cards away from kids or taking cards away from collectors and stuff like that. But they want to make a living, and I guess, hopefully they just sell it for, just that it's when they try to ask for these absurd prices too.
Double or more than double.
Yeah, more than double. You're like, oh.
I see it every day on Facebook and the Facebook groups. Like, to be honest with the Elite Fates,
they usually get murdered on the Facebook group, so I love that too. Everyone's like, get out of here with your junk.
So it's like,
people try to sell dollar packs for like $5. Like, oh, I got these dollar packs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell them to you for $5 a piece, and people are like, get out of here with those.
I see it all the time with the so Hidden Fates is always popular for it. Vivid Voltage has been popular for it. Shining Fates obviously is popular, but the Hidden Fates Elite Trainer box at the minute, that's kind of like the hot thing on the Facebook groups. So in the UK, about 2 weeks ago, we just had a restock. So I pre-ordered mine in, I want to say September last year, September, October time is when I put my pre-order in. And this goes back to kind of taking advantage of putting the onus on the stores. So last year, when the websites and the retailers were taking pre-orders of Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes again, some of the websites put limits on how many people could order. Some it was 3, some it was 5. There was a website I bought from called Chaos Cards. It's a fairly, like,
I think I've heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a fairly big, it's not like a local game store by any stretch. It's like a fairly big e-commerce website for all trading cards. They put a limit of 10 ETBs on their like per customer to get. So I ordered 10. And then when I posted on Instagram about 3 weeks ago, my delivery had came, like 5-6 months later. It was basically just a case that came, and I posted that, and everyone was like, how did you get them? It's like, it had Chaos cards like slapped all over the box. I was like, I added it to my basket and I ordered it. But the reason I ordered 10 is because, like I said, the rate that I was opening Hidden Fates last year was just insane. And for someone who hasn't opened much modern product until last year, and when I open a lot of modern product, I'm a little bit like, with Hidden Fates, I just really enjoy the set though. So for me, it's like, rather than spending a little bit of money on every single new set that comes out, I'd rather just put my money into Hidden Fates because I'm going to have more fun doing that. So because it was so hard to get Hidden Fates, I saw a website that was, allowing me to order 10 Elite Trainer boxes. I ordered 10 because I know I'm going to keep 10 of those boxes, open them, maybe keep 1 or 2 for my seal collection, but I'm going to go through them and open them and just have them for myself. But was I taking advantage there? Like, they said I could order 10, so I ordered 10. If they said I could have ordered 1 or 3, like, I would have ordered that many. If they didn't put a limit on that, realistically, I probably wouldn't have bought more than 10 because that was like, I don't know, £60 each or £100 each. So it's like, it's kind of that thing. It's like, where do you draw the line? Like, as a collector, I want them to open. The website lets you order 10. So it's like, okay, I'll order 10 because, I want them for myself. But it's like going back to the Walgreens or Walmart or Target, things like that. If they were aware of the situation a little bit more, and like you say, if they put a limit on it, maybe it's like, I don't know, 3 of any one product, it's still enough for a collector, like for an Elite Trainer box, say, you can go and get a couple of them. But then it means like those scalpers are having to go back every single day. So it just means like one scalper can't go in, buy the entire shelf out, and then no collectors get the chance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to monitor though. It's hard to police because even as a scalper, like,
they'll come in with their family. Sometimes they'll be like, each one of you, I want to come with my friends. Everyone grab 3, and then they're just gonna empty it out.
It's that thing where it's like scalpers. They've got these like automated bots, and they've got the Discord groups that just ping for stock alerts. So it's like, if you're in that community, you're going to find a way to like play the system or work the system. So it's like, how do you monitor, like, or how do you make it fair when online, like, they're able to just get around and game the system. So no matter which way a store does try and monitor it, these scalpers will try and find some way to get around it. Because remember, like, that's their living, and they're going to try and do whatever they can to make that living. Whereas for us as just collectors, it's like you go to the store, it's not there, you're annoyed because it's not there, and then you just move on to the next one. But for these scalpers, like that's their living, so they need to be a bit more tricky and get around the system.
Yeah,
It's hard, it's hard to other than either demand dropping or supply increasing. It's like, how else do you kind of work the situation at the minute?
Yeah, and then that's what I feel. I feel like the demand's going to kind of drop, and more people are getting frustrated, and they're just like, whatever. So, and that's kind of how I feel. But I mean, I'm just like, you know, the days that I'm like, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna look at Walmarts and Targets, and I'm like, ugh. But then, like I said before, you turn around and you go to the local card shop and you talk to the owner, and like I'm in like little Discord groups with like some of the local card shops, like the owners, where he's like, he gives updates and you can send him messages. Hey, when are you gonna get battle styles? Hey, when are you gonna get this? And he's like, I'll let you know. And then like people will like claim him on there. Let me put pre-orders on this. Let me pre-orders on that. And he'll be like, hey, I'm gonna have such and such in the shop right now. Or you can even like before you go over there, you're like, hey, what do you have in stock right now? And he'll let you know.
It saves you the trick. Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it, and I think that's where the smaller businesses can kind of combat it, because they'll have their local community and they'll have like their regulars that they can kind of get in touch with either on a Facebook group or a Discord channel or whatever it might be. So that's where the smaller companies can kind of stand out and differentiate themselves from, you know, the big corporates and try and get more customers coming to them. But then they're still limited by how much stock they're able to order themselves.
Yeah.
It's not like they've got an unlimited supply, but at least, you know, then like you say, they're nurturing those relationships now. So even when Pokemon does die off a little bit, I imagine the kinds of people who are going to game stores are going to be the ones who stick around after the demand's died off. So hopefully that's where the local game stores can kind of continue making, you know, good business and, you know, increase their profits and increase their customers, rather than those customers then just going to, you know, the big corporates and spending the money there.
Yeah. All right, I got a question for you. I just thought, all right, so let's say COVID's over with, everything's open, people are going on holiday, they're selling their Pokemon cards, everyone's put everything on the market. We see that, you know, everything is just like so much supply and the demand goes down and all the prices are dropping. What's the one card that you're going to go out and get now that you can get? Or are you going to sell your stuff because you're afraid it's going to drop too low? Is there something that you're going to look for and you're going to grab because you couldn't afford it before?
So, I mean, I suppose the obvious, I mean, how much of a dip are we talking here? Because the obvious answer would be like the first edition base set Charizard PSA 10, wouldn't it? Like, if you could get one of them with the price dip, and we've seen them sell for crazy amounts now. So, if one of those was to dip to create like crazy cheap, then
yeah. How would you think? Because that's another thing. It's like before this huge spike. Because I remember just like less than 2 years ago, I can get a base set pack for like $120. And now a base set pack is, I don't know, 500-600 or something like that. So
unlimited.
Unlimited. Yeah. Now thinking that if everything goes, because I can't imagine them going less than $100. But if they went back to like $120 a piece, that's the craziest thing I could imagine. Like everything goes back to like kind of 2 years ago. So now those booster packs are 120. I don't see the first edition Charizard ever going to like $20,000, $30,000 like it was before.
Yeah,
but it's so hard. It's so hard to imagine them to go to like drop that much, but it could happen. What if that does happen?
I mean, the only kind of, and I don't know if you'd classify it as a crash, but the only big dip that I remember in Pokemon was around that. For me, I got back into it 2008, so this might have been a common thing prior to 2008. But I remember certain booster boxes. Team Rocket Team Rocket was my bread and butter when I got started. I could buy Team Rocket booster boxes unlimited on average for £30 a box. So over here in the UK, booster packs when I was a kid used to cost like £2.50. That might be like $4 or something over like where you guys are, but like £2.50 for a booster pack. Obviously 36 booster packs in a box. I was buying booster boxes of Team Rocket for for £30 a box. So the packet worked out under £1. So it was actually cheaper buying them like 6, 7 years after they're released than what they were at the release. Outside of that kind of time frame when I was collecting back then, I've never seen any Pokemon like older stuff once
Just
it's gone
yeah.
out of print. I've never seen it go below what it was selling for at retail. I've watched some of Alpha Investments videos where he was saying years ago he had loads of Pokemon and he was trying to sell it for less than RRP. He couldn't sell it, so he's put it in his bathroom, and then 4 or 5 years later, it's all sky high
Yeah,
prices.
I've seen those videos too. I think he had
So
like Generations boxes and stuff like
yeah,
just
yeah,
stacked
yeah.
up in his bathroom.
He was, and that's because there was just so much supply, not enough demand. So I mean, that was a kind of not a market crash, but like a bad kind of time for the market. But in terms of like, yeah, do we see prices going back? If they went back to prices that were, let's say 2008 and 2019 prices, so before COVID hit, what would I go back and buy? I would probably go back and buy another base set box unlimited. I would look to see what a legendary collection booster box costed, purely because I had two of them, sold one of them, opened one years ago. Wish I kept it sealed. So I'd look to see if I could get one of them, like a legendary collection booster box. That'd be cool to have. Some of the Shining, the Neo Shinings would be good to get. Like I've got the first edition PSA 10 Charizards, but to be honest, up until last year, I've never been a big graded collector. I think I'm kind of, I don't know if falling into the trap's the right word, but I'm one of those people who, because of last year, Pokemon was growing as it was. There was nothing. My hobbies were wrestling, bodybuilding, and because of COVID, that kind of took both of those away from me. Bodybuilding, spending a lot of time in the gym. Wrestling is such a time sink. Like training on an evening, and then if I'm wrestling on a show on a weekend, that's like an entire day. Like I might be traveling 3 hours to a venue. You get there before the show starts. The show might last for 2.5, 3 hours. 3 hours home. It takes like a full day. I might have had like 2 or 3 shows on like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's like the entire weekend gone. So because I had so much more free time, I then just put that back into Pokemon. Kind of saw like, sending cards off was now safe to do, because when I was collecting back then, I just had no confidence in sending cards abroad to America to get graded to come back to the UK. But then there's like middlemen services and there's insurance. So it's like, okay, let's get some of my cards graded. But yeah, in all honesty, graded cards for me wasn't a big thing until kind of last year. So even now, it's not like, I don't know, I don't have a big desire to go out and get, like, when I look at PSA 10 first edition Charizard, I think, yeah, it would be nice to own one. But it's not one of those things where I think like, oh man, I wish I had that. Like for me, just having the raw cards in many cases is enough. And the cards I've sent off for grading, I've sent off my first edition base set. That's purely like, but to protect those pieces. I'll never sell those cards. They'll just, the sentimental value to me. I'll never ever sell that base set. But there's other cards I got sent off to get graded, to then sell to kind of recoup money from those grading costs. Some of the cards I bought last year, some of the slabs, some of the graded cards, I kind of bought with that investor mindset, thinking, okay, 10, 20 years from now, these might be worth a lot more money. And then in the meantime, I'm happy to have them in my collection. But it's like in the back of my mind, if, like I was able to make a substantial profit from them, who knows, I might be tempted to sell and put some of that money back into buying other things or use it elsewhere in my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me, if the price has dropped, I think probably sealed is where I would want to go more. Base set booster box, a legendary collection booster box. I mean, one of my goals last year, which kind of, I wasn't able to complete, and I've just give up on it now, was to get one of every WotC booster box sealed from base set all the way up until Neo. And I was making good progress with it. Then I had trouble with some of the boxes. In the middle, kind of in the process of getting some refunds on them now still. But yeah, kind of just give up on that goal of having a sealed collection. What about you? What would you go for?
The first thing that I look for when, like, if prices drop is the Luigi Pikachu. That's the only thing. Yeah, maybe some gold star cards. But I mean, I don't imagine vintage to like drop so much, because like, a lot of I'm not into like the financing side so much. Like I know I'll listen to some SM Pratt and stuff like that, and like a lot of them have mentioned before that vintage is pretty safe. Like if they were to drop, like if base set packs were to go back to like $120, there's so many big Pokemon people in there that would just want to pick them all up real quick. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the fear of it dropping that low is just very, very, very slim. Like it might drop a bit, but for it to go back to $100, it's going to be
where
so.
you're going to have big drops, big
This
retraces.
is a new, like the new,
It is
probably the
definitely
next
like new
few
stuff.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
new stuff. But even in the vintage side of things, I think the unlimited base set is going to get hit hard because
People don't know how much there is out there because there's probably
exactly
just printed so
there's
much, and
so
everyone has them at PSA right now, probably waiting
yeah.
for them to come back.
There's going to be so much coming back. So imagine at the minute the prices kind of are what they are now. They spiked massively in October because of Logan Paul, but then at the end of October the prices dropped a lot. I remember basic Charizard's PSA 9 was selling for £4,400, £4,500 on eBay in the UK, and that was like the established price for maybe a fortnight, 2 weeks. Then those cards now, I've not actually looked at them for a while, but I know they dropped to quite quickly. They dropped to 3,000. Then they were like the mid 2000s. They might be around £2,000 now. I might be wrong. I'm not, like I say, I'm not looked for a while, but I would imagine off the top of my head, the last time I looked, maybe around £2,000. That's like over half, like over like less than half of what they were selling for.
Yeah.
Let's say that the price is established at that point now. When demand drops a little bit because the world's opened back up and COVID's gone, and when PSA starts sending those cards back, imagine how many more PSA 7, 8, 9 basic Charizards we're going to get. There's going to be a ton because that's what most people who, when they were kids, most people had the base set. So if they're sending those off, there's going to be there's going to be so many coming back with less of a demand and more of a supply. That price is going to potentially, I don't want to say it is, but if I see anything that is going to tank, I would imagine it's that base set.
Yeah.
I imagine first edition's fairly safe though, because
yeah,
like how many people, if they go and find, like old cards from the basement or from the attic or whatever, how many kids had first edition base sets that were in mint condition? Like how many cards are there out there that haven't already been graded? Like there's not many, but unlimited, there'll be a ton.
Yeah, first edition Shadowless, you're probably safe. E-series cards and the cards that people weren't collecting when they were kids, those are going to be safe. It's just those big Rocket, Jungle, base set, the ones that everybody had so much of. But then another thing is, and if they are getting graded, I still feel like the 9s and the 10s and everything might drop a little bit, but how everyone takes care of their cards when they're a kid and everything, I feel like it's just going to be flooded with a bunch of 5s and 4s and 6s, and people don't understand when you go onto eBay and you look at people's collection, they don't understand what condition is and like how to take care of the cards.
Yeah, you're right. No, I think you're right. Like I think the PSA 10 prices, whether it's unlimited base set, whether it's unlimited first edition, whatever, I think PSA 10 in general is going to be quite safe because of how limited those cards are. 9s, depending on what the card is, depending on the population, yeah. But I think you're right. Like even for the unlimited stuff, like we're going to see, anywhere between 4s and 7s, so many more cards coming back because, your average kind of casual person who just is reading headlines or Pokemon cards are worth so much money, and then they see, oh, what's this grading? Oh, I've got these cards, I'll send them grading. They look at their cards and think, oh, that's near mint, and they'll see like a couple of little scratches, or they won't even think to look at the back, and there'll be those white dots all over it and the little scuffs around the edge of the. But they look at the front and they'll think, oh, there's that hollow looks good. It's a mint card. Send it off, and then they'll be surprised like when the grades come back.
They're like, it's not bent in half. It should be. It's a mint card. It looks good.
It's just been played.
Yeah. I've seen people do that. They're like, how come this card has a 6? And then you see like a big dent or something on the side.
I see that on Facebook all the time. I saw one
there.
I saw one of those. I can't remember what the card was. It was on Facebook the other day. I think it might have been a Dark Charizard, but it got a 6. And I was scrolling through, and my girlfriend was sat next to me, and I clicked on it, and it said, oh, there's like a warp in the top right corner. And even my girlfriend, who was only kind of half paying attention, was like, you can see there's a massive bend on the top right corner. So I clicked on the photo, and it was just obvious. It was one of those things where if that was one of my cards and I'd noticed that, I wouldn't have even considered sending it for grading. But then somebody was questioning why you got a 6 and not a 9 or a 10 on Facebook. And it was like, come on. And there's going to be so many of those kinds of people who
sending them in, and they're going to get the cards back, and they're going to be like, yeah, I have a Gym Mint Charizard, and I have all this other stuff. They're all going to come back, and they're going to get the 4s and the 5s and the 3s, and they're going to be like, oh, I heard PSA was easy. Everyone said
Yeah.
send me the PSA. They give easy 10s. This is
Or something.
all the
Yeah.
YouTubers. They're pulling out all these cards from packs, and there's like, oh yeah, PSA. They'll give that a 10. They'll give
They
that
only
a
put
10.
the PSA 10 prices on, so somebody looks in their binder and say, "Oh, well, that's worth $30,000, or that's worth $10,000," and like, yeah, they spent the money before they've even got it.
Yep, or I see TikTok videos of this guy. Stop commenting on him because he gets me frustrated. They're like, I found this Shadowless Weedle in my binder. Look at Shadowless Weedle prices. And they show PSA 10s, $120, $130. Like, oh my goodness. You can see it's all whitening and stuff and everything. It's like this.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
That is like, if you could sell that conditioned Weedle for $5, you're winning right now, Raw. It's like, nobody wants your beat up Weedle. Like
yeah, it's ridiculous.
$110.
Metal. I'll show you some cards I did get. So these were delivered a couple of days ago, and I only opened them today. But I thought they'd be quite topical, given the last couple of videos we've mentioned. So,
ooh, Professor Elm, Japanese, right? That is awesome. And oak. That's so cool.
So got them. Got the
nice, the character card. Magnemite. Yeah, nice.
And then topped it off with
Bruno. That is awesome.
Absolutely. Like, I kind of missed out on these first time round when they were first like coming out, the full art trainers. But then it's one of those like things where lately I've been looking at them and seeing them more on Instagram and then even on like the Facebook groups. And it's like the art on these, the full art trainers from that Kanto period. The cards are just so cool. And to be honest, they're not too expensive. Like most of these, I mean, I can't remember how much I paid individually, but I think I got the 5 cards for like £60 or 60.
Yeah, especially like getting the Japanese ones where the artwork is the same, but it's going to be
exactly.
quite a bit cheaper.
So there wasn't like, I mean, that Professor Realm with the 3 starters on just looks like.
Do you have the Professor Oak one with the 3 starters? Because you have the Professor Oak with the balls behind him.
So I've got that one with the balls. Is there a Professor Oak with the 3 starters?
Yep. You got to get that.
What set's that from?
I don't know. I don't know, but I've seen it. I almost gotten that. I was like, I want to get both of those, the Elm and the Oak with the starters on it. I did, and since you showed those, I went out and I saw somebody's collection a while ago, and like you mentioned with those, there's certain cards you see, and you're just like, that is a beautiful card, and I know that it's not selling for what you think it's worth. Like you could probably get this for like $20, $15 or whatever. I saw this one in the guy's collection. It's called Team Rocket's Handiwork. Yeah. And it has like the R on there, and it has like they have these weapons and tools and stuff. And
I love the Team Rocket card. I love the Team Rocket set. I love anything to do with Team Rocket.
Yeah, I know. Do you have this one? Do you know if you have
I've never seen the cards, no.
Yeah, I never saw it too. And I was looking through his collection. I was like, that is a really cool card.
How much was that?
I think you could get them for like $10.
Yeah, it's like nothing is this.
Yeah,
like,
$10 to $15.
And those things as well. Like on the I know we're a little bit all over in today's.
yeah, we always are.
I made a video recently about like, is the hobby too expensive to enjoy? Because everybody, again on Facebook, everybody loves complaining about the prices. Now, yeah, if you want to go and get a PSA 10 first edition Charizard, it's probably a little bit too expensive. Or if you want to go and open vintage booster packs first edition, yeah, probably a little bit too expensive. But I mean, like these cards here, like we were just shown, like if you want to enjoy Pokemon, you can find a way to do it. Like I say, that was the most expensive one. I can't remember the individual breakdown of the cards, but like
that's the thing though. It's like me and you, and I got to remind myself this. We have the knowledge of all the stuff out there. The new guys going into it with their sons and stuff, all they know is what Walmart and Target stocks. They don't know about the, how to get older stuff. They don't know, even though it seems simple. They don't. Oh, speaking of inexpensive, these were kind of expensive. They're kind of more now, but these are like the Pokemon poker cards.
These on Instagram loads lately, the playing cards.
Yeah, they're really awesome.
Yeah,
so I'm glad I got these.
Have you got the full deck, or has you just got certain cards? Or
it's just it's like a quarter of a deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some cool cards. But I did find this. This is another one from like Taiwan. This was like $10. This was a whole deck.
Nice.
And look at the artwork. Is that like
on that. Menji cards?
No, these are, I don't know what they're called. But it's like the artwork is just super cool. on
Yeah.
both
From the
sides.
information
And
style,
and
yeah.
this is a sealed from like 1998 poker set thing with like cool
Okay.
art on it for like $10.
Yeah.
So it's like that's a cool Pokemon collection
That's
thing.
what I mean. Like, if you want to enjoy the hobby, like, it's easy to do. You can go onto eBay, you can find those cards, like even common and uncommon cards. If you look at the Team Rocket set, for me, I think Team Rocket has the best uncommon artwork.
Oh
Like,
yeah, the
in any
Squirtle, the Charmander, and
yeah, like the ones off the top
all
of my
this
head
stuff.
that kind of jump out at me is like there's a Charmeleon in there.
Mhm.
There's
Flareon.
yeah, there's I think the Flare. No, I think it's the Jolteon, Vaporeon, which are rare and hollow. But I mean, like even just common cards and uncommon cards. You got the Squirtle card. You got the cool looking Machoke. He's just got like a big boulder over his head. He looks like he's right.
Yeah.
You've got the Charmeleon. You got a cool Charmander in there. Like there's just so much cool. Like
You know what I want to start doing? And since you're like an advanced collector, I was watching SM Pratt again. You watch him too. I think you mentioned.
Yeah, I've actually yesterday I was watching. It was yesterday, I think it was. His 25,000 subscriber like Q&A video. Like
Yeah.
I had that in the background while I was working.
Yeah, well, one of the things he mentioned, and it just like blew my mind. I was like, I got to do this, and I'm getting another binder. Is he was talking about people organizing their cards by the artist.
That it might have been the same video that I watched.
Yeah, because I think that might have been a video after that question, or might have been that one.
Yeah,
I was like, that sounds so awesome because you could learn so much more about the artist. Like watch it, and you could learn so much more of like what you like about Pokemon. Like I don't know. That sounds so cool.
way. Like it's another way to collect. Like you can either collect species of Pokemon, you can collect master sets or specific sets, you can collect by artists. There's so many different goals you can have, and that artist one is a really cool way to do it because you might just like a certain card because it's that artist, so chances are they're going to do art on other Pokemon that you like. So maybe it's like you don't like a specific Pokemon, you like that artist, and
exactly,
and that's another way to collect. And if that artist has a ton of like common and uncommon cards out there,
easy, cheap money, and you can get the things you like. Exactly.
You can enjoy it. Yeah, you can still enjoy it. I think like a lot of people complain about the prices and say it's too expensive to enjoy. I think those are maybe people who are bitter and feel like they've missed out on making money. So because they haven't made money, they feel like, oh, well, it's now too expensive. I can't make money from it. But if you're a collector, unless you're wanting to open vintage booster packs or buy those PSA, vintage cards, you can still buy like basic. If you go on eBay and you're searching for raw holo cards from almost any set, minus maybe the Neos, and then minus the odd chase card like a Dark Charizard, you can still buy them for like some cards literally a couple of pounds or a couple of dollars. Like they'll be in good condition. Like if they're in a binder, the front, looking at it, you wouldn't know it's mint condition if you just looked at it from the front. The back might be scuffed, but if you're careful and look at the photos, you can go and buy individual cards for like dirt cheap that are like holo cards. Whereas modern cards, like I don't know, it's crazy that you can go and buy vintage cards for holo cards for £4 or £5, chase cards from the set, but then like a modern cards raw is £200. It just blows my mind.
Yep, or you could buy them for like you're saying $4 or $5, and then some modern cards like the new trainers are just like $10, $15, $20. It's like, whoa, no, just get these ones over here.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And what else was gonna? I don't know how long we've been doing this now, but I was like, I guess I feel like there's other things we could talk about, but then this is going to be another episode of everything. And I'm going to try to put the title together. I'm like, I don't know what to talk about. We're going to talk about artists. We're going to talk about
what are we talking about today?
Yeah, we're going to talk about how the big companies are screwing it all up.
Big company screws two YouTubers. There's the thumbnail. There's the
title. Have like a dirty thumbnail.
Just have the faces like this, like
yeah.
There's the title. There's the thumbnail. Just watch the clicks roll in.
Yeah, but no, I really want to organize by the artists now, and I really and what you mentioned before in your video about that YouTuber and that video is that there's artwork that you can find in the mangas. There's artwork you can find everywhere that's really beautiful, and I'm just really I'm really excited to learn more about the artists behind all these Pokemon. Because like I hear about like Arita and Sugimori, and the things that I do see is Sugimori, I'm like, I think I'm like him the most. And then I look at a lot of my favorite things, I'm like, oh, who are these people? And who's this person? Maybe I like all their stuff. And it isn't, and another thing that I learned too is I looked at the Screaming promos while Screaming Art promos, and I was thinking, oh, these are probably all going to be from the same artist because it all kind of looks like this. They were all from different artists, so it's like, and then you kind of look at it like, oh, I could see like the little differences. So it's not going to be like this artist is drastically like this and this artist is drastically like that. There's going to be little, there's going to be little things. And
I think that's maybe what we could do then for the next video we do for this. Maybe something either artists of Pokemon, we could maybe find some of our favorite cards, show them off, talk about them. We could maybe look at some of our favorite common or uncommon cards and show the art off for them, just to show like people, you know, there's common and uncommon cards out there that you can, you know, look really cool. It's not just all shiny hollows all the time.
There's this common Onyx, and I don't know where it is because I need to do a video on it. It is like the most beautiful common card I've ever seen. It's like this Onyx in the front of the card, and behind it there's like a setting sun and the city and like wilderness.
A vintage card?
It is a vintage card. It's a vintage card.
I think it could be from one of the Neo sets.
Might be. I wonder if I have it in here because I purchased it a while ago. Because I go on these Facebook groups and like a common question is like, what is the most beautiful card you have in your collection, like common or whatever? And the guy posted it, and I said, "Oh my lord, I've never seen that card before. I'm gonna buy it right now because it's a common card too." So I bought it for like $2, and I'm like, this card is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, here it is. No, it's an E-Series card.
Ah, okay.
Oh, it's so gorgeous. So I don't know what, but that is what it looks like.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, I know. Who is the artist? It is Hajime Kasujima. Yeah, it is so gorgeous. Sun setting behind the mountains. A bunch of trees. It looks like maybe tree houses and a building, and the Onyx is just towering over everything, and the clouds and the rays. It's so epic. It's so gorgeous.
I think that's something I could do with learning more about as well as the artists. Like you said, collect and buy the artist. That would be something new for me to jump into and learn about. And again, it's like a cheap way to collect. It's something to kind of keep you interested in the hobby, because for me, it's kind of like that thing of like, yeah, I'm a vintage collector primarily, but like, there's only so much you can like. There's only so many complete base sets I want to have, and you know. Whereas if I'm just looking to build a banner of just like individual artists, maybe that will take me more out of the vintage era and into other sets that I'm not as familiar with as well. So, kind of a learning process for me as well. But yeah, I definitely think we could focus like that as a topic for a future video, and also how to enjoy Pokemon that isn't expensive cards.
Yeah,
like we say, there's the manga, there's the games, there's the anime, there's other kinds of collectibles, there's other cards outside of just the TCG. Like there's other kind of cards out there. And
exactly, I'll just get, oh yeah, I know I'm gonna ruin this because I'll put everything in here, but yeah, this is another thing, and this is what I bought a while ago. It was like a $10 vintage
is that the
pack.
top?
It's a, no, right. This is like a bubble gum, but yeah, the tops as well. You can get old tops packs I have back there for like, I think like $20, $20-$30 for some of them, and yeah, it's really nice.
I remember as a kid, the tops cards were those cards that were kind of like, you kind of looked at them as like, oh, these aren't real Pokemon cards, like, because the main cards is obviously like the normal TCG, but when you got like the tops cards, like I've got stacks of them, so like still in my collection. But when I was a kid, I remember like those were kind of like third-rate Pokemon cards. Those like second citizen Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Your mom or dad will be like, "Oh yeah, I brought you some Pokemon cards," and you
it
like,
was just the wrong card.
This isn't Pokemon cards. Gotcha. This isn't what I want. I can't show this off at school. Nobody cares about these.
I remember though, over here in the UK, those were super popular before the TCG took off. Now, I don't know the exact timeframes of when they released compared to the trading cards. I know the Wizards of the Coast cards released in '99. I don't know when Topps released off the top of my head, but I remember there was a time, very briefly, just before the Wizards of the Coast cards took off, where everybody had those Tops cards, and obviously, like the style of the art, like the art the way they are. Everybody had them, and then it was kind of like not like a couple of weeks later, people stopped bringing those cards into school, and if you were bringing those cards into school, like you weren't the cool kid, like.
I'm sorry you're poor, Timmy. It seems like you only have poor dude. We got to get a GoFundMe for Timmy. He's bringing Topps cards to school still.
Yeah. In 2021, you probably could set a GoFundMe up for that.
Yeah, this poor guy. You're bringing me down. You're showing all these Topps cards. You're bringing me down, man. I feel sorry for you. but now now that they've come up a little bit, and there's some cool variations I didn't know about, because I have I guess there's like blue label and black label on the top symbol. Like you could tell, like almost like first edition or unlimited. One of them is a bit older than the other one. So like people really go out and they collect the Topps cards. And then there's like the first appearance, like Ryan style Pokemon. You watch him? Like he was.
No. I don't watch him.
Yeah, he was going after the first appearance Lugia, which like graded 10, goes for like I believe thousands of dollars. So there's these like cards in the Topps packs that people, niche ones that people are really looking for. And
I think Pokemon is so hot. Kind of seeing a lot of these sets that weren't as popular, or a lot of these items that weren't as popular, kind of raising now in price, because there's so many people in the hobby now. And everybody's just got their own personalities. Everybody's got their own things that they like. So I think you're seeing a lot of these underrated sets or underrated products kind of being given a bit of the limelight now.
Yep, exactly. Just like we mentioned before, like if it's hard to get these new sets, people are being pushed off and they're looking at something else, and then they're discovering things that they like. They're like, oh, I like these old packs I can get for 20, 30 bucks now. And and then there's cool things about them. Like a lot of the Topps packs, you open them up and the cards are stuck together. So it's really hard to find the card that you like in good condition, which is kind of like a whole new level of like searching for things. It's like you can find the card, but you want to find that pack where the cards are still looking good inside and everything. It's just, whole new levels to everything.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll go for reals this time.
That's right. Another hour for the viewers.
Yeah. We might, maybe even, I don't know. I'll see. I'll look at this video. I might split it up into like a couple of different things. Who knows? Who knows? I haven't even uploaded the last one to my channel because I wanted to I had an idea of what I wanted to do to it, but I've been recording so much, but I haven't uploaded. Like I have like so many things recorded that I need to upload.
To edit and upload, and I'm kind of at the minute struggling. Like I'm almost filming and editing that same day to get the video out, because I've not had time to kind of film a backlog. Whereas what I used to do was try and film a whole bunch in one go, and then it's like edit it and time. But what I'm having to do at the minute is kind of film, edit, get the video out that day. So I want to try and just set some time aside to get a good bunch of footage, just get it, parked up, and then just work my way through the edit of it.
For me, it's just like I was doing this thing where I was on this Facebook group because I'm like checking out people's collections, where someone's like, I can meet you on Monday. Somebody, I can meet you on Wednesday. I can meet you on Friday. So I'm doing all these videos of meeting all those people. And I'm like, I haven't gotten those videos up yet. And then it's I'm going to check out this other place. And I do another video. And then I come home, I do like a Midnight with Pokemon video. And I upload one. And I'm like, I got all these other ones that I still need to upload.
Oh, it's good to be in though, because at least you've got content there ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good position to be in.
Yeah, and now I got this video. I got another one. And I'm like, I got this. And it's fun. It's fun. I love doing this with you, and I love meeting everybody else. And I like editing too. But when I see all that needs to be edited, then it can kind of be a little overwhelming. But
makes sense. But no, I think next video then maybe we'll chat between now and then, and we'll maybe come up with some ideas. And then we can maybe just pull some of our own cards out or do a bit of research around whatever topic it is. And I think something to do with either those common or uncommon cards, or cheap, let's call it, we could call it good for common and uncommon or cheap cards, however we kind of word it.
Yeah.
Look at some of those, like our favorite art. And you never know, we might find out like when we're doing the video, like we pull some of the same cards out and it's both on our list, and we can that'd be pretty cool. So there's that topic, and maybe just even like other ways to enjoy Pokemon for cheap, and we can go through some of our like other products that we collect and other things that is out there other than just the cards. So we'll chat about that and see what we come up with.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. All right, man. So I guess thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing.
Punch that thumbs up button.
Yeah, that thumbs up button. All right. I'll see you next time, man.